Hello, everyone, and welcome to Body Bags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I am Lonnie from Horror Heaven77. If you get a chance, please check out my channel. Do movie reviews on there too, and haul videos, things like that, and videos on scary stories and urban legends. So please check it out. It's a good channel. I got to be honest, I'm kind of surprised. I've been on Body Bags for months now, and I've never reviewed a Rob Zombie movie. Not one. I mean, I've reviewed some on my old channel, Cinema77 Horror and Cult Film Lover, but I've never reviewed a Rob Zombie movie, and I'm kind of surprised about that. I am a big Rob Zombie fan. I love his music. Every time he puts out an album, I got to make sure I buy it. He puts out a movie, I want to see it. I've already got my copy of Three from Hell pre-ordered, but I thought, you know what? I need to go ahead and do a Rob Zombie movie. I've never talked about one of his movies before, so that's changing tonight. So we're going to talk about the 2015 movie 31. And, I'm going to say right off the bat, I do like the movie. I really enjoy the movie. I think when it comes to terms of Rob Zombie's, movie career, I think if there's one thing that I don't like, is just that I would like to see him branch off and do other kinds of films. And not so much like, oh, I want to see him go do a romantic comedy or stuff. I want him to continue making horror films, but I'd like to see him work in other subgenres of horror films. It's like I'd like to see Rob Zombie make a vampire movie. I'd like to see him do a haunted house movie. I mean, Lords of Salem was as close as we got, and I actually like that movie. I know a lot of people don't, but I actually enjoyed that movie. I should probably, unless somebody beats me to it, I should probably review that one at some point too. But um, you know, but yeah, like haunted house movie or vampire movie or a monster movie, creature feature type of movie. His last name is Zombie. Do a zombie movie. I do remember reading though about when supposedly he was going to remake The Blob, and there was they had like some of the concept art and stuff like that, and they said there was going to be like a zombie element to it, kind of almost like a Night of the Creeps kind of zombie element to it. I remember that, but still, it's like I like to see Rob Zombie tackle a zombie movie. Like I said, other kinds of films. It's just this here kind of goes back more to like his original movies, like House of a Thousand Corpses, or mostly like Devil's Rejects and stuff. And it's another case of these kind of backwoods white trash characters killing white trash characters and stuff. And while the movie is good, it just doesn't feel like anything new. It just kind of feels like it's for a Rob Zombie fan, it's safe. It's kind of like his other movies. It's not really taking any chances. It's not particularly daring, but it's still a good movie. Now the story is pretty simple. You got you open up. You got this character here, Doomhead, and I'm going to say right off the bat, this actor here, Richard Brake, he steals this movie, and I think one of the reasons why he ended up getting why you see him on the poster of Three from Hell is because pretty much because of this movie here, his performance in this. And I mean, obviously, the real reason is because we found out that Sid Haig was not feeling well when they were making the movie, so Rob Zombie had very little time to work with him, so he had to give the a lot of the Captain Spaulding part to another character. Okay, so but anyway, though, so we open up with this character here. His name is Doomhead, and he's he ends up murdering the preacher, played by Daniel Roebuck. Then we have the credit sequence, and the movie starts. You got these characters; they're carnies. They're traveling in a travel van, and the leader is Venus Virgos, played by Meg Foster. Of course, you got Sheri Moon Zombie. It's a Rob Zombie movie, so it's a package deal. You get a Rob Zombie movie, Sheri's coming, so she's part of the deal. And then you got like Jeff Daniel Phillips, who he's become a real staple of Rob Zombie films, and Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, and you got all these characters. And the movie, if you watch any of Rob Zombie's movies, if you're a fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you always get the Texas Chainsaw Massacre influence in all of Rob Zombie's films, and it's in this movie too. It's very, very apparent in this movie. The movie starts off. You got kind of like 20 minutes of it's supposed to be kind of like character building, setting up the story, things like that. And they're you get the like the homages of Chainsaw Massacre do pop into your head. Like they stop off at a gas station. You got these characters riding in a van. You know that they're heading into a nightmare. It's not going to be good. Right there on the cover, you see, guy, guy there. He's wearing human skin, but is painted up like a clown. He's got a chainsaw. So we know, so if you're a Rob Zombie fan, you know that this is going into Chainsaw Massacre territory. And so they get gas. You got that foreboding kind of character there, kind of like in Chainsaw Massacre, how you had the cook played by Jim Sedow, and then you had like the foreboding character of like, the hitchhiker played by Ed Neal, so there's like a character that meets up with our group of characters that kind of like, you get the feeling like they're kind of being, checked out. They're being singled out, that they're going to be picked. They're going to be led into the spider's nest. And in this case, in this movie here, the character is a cute, adorable girl that turns out it's E.G. Daily, who, she was in, Devil's Rejects and things like that. Mainly, I think the one thing everybody mostly is always going to remember her for is she's Dottie in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. But anyway, so we get the sense, okay, now we already know, the van's pulling out, night's falling, they're just driving along. It's October 31st, 31. So, they come along, they see scarecrows in the road. They stop. They think it's like some, the character of Panda, he thinks it's, voodoo and stuff. So they go out and they're getting ready to move it. And then they get attacked by these goons. And I thought that was funny because if you listen to Rob Zombie's commentary, I never thought of this until he said it. Rob Zombie actually said, if you go back and watch the holiday family movie, A Christmas Story, he actually said that, in the movie that when Ralphie is having the fantasy about the bandits, they got the black and white striped shirts and they got the hoods and everything else on, and they're jumping over the fence and all that stuff. Rob Zombie actually found that unsettling. He found that disturbing and scary. And it's like when you see these goons, he has them dressed up like that because he said, yeah, that always disturbed me. And I always thought that was creepy. So I thought, it's like, I never thought of that. It never struck me as disturbing or weird, but it does him. But anyway, so they get hijacked and they get taken to this place. We don't know where it is. It's just this big warehouse somewhere, I guess in Texas or whatever. And then we're introduced to Father Murder, Sister Serpent, and Sister Dragon, played by Malcolm McDowell. And is he on here? Yeah, right there. You barely see him. But Malcolm McDowell, Judy Geeson, and I'm sorry, I forget the other actress's name. And then they tell them that basically they're going to, for the next 12 hours, they're going to be playing a game called 31. And 31, it's not particularly explained what there's a thing about not explaining. I'll get to that in a minute. But they're going to be playing this game called 31, and the whole 12 hours, they're going to be meeting up with these psychopaths called the Heads. And one of them is, you got Doomhead here, which is Richard Brake's character. You got Sex Head. Turns out it's actually E.G. Daly's character. You got Death Head. You got Sick Head, Schizo Head. What was it? I forget the other one's name, but Psycho Head, I think. So anyway, so then the idea is now they're locked into this warehouse and they got to spend the next 12 hours, fighting this. Fighting these psychopaths, and you got like one there, there's with the axe, you got like one there, wearing human skin and a chainsaw and all that stuff. And so anyway, so you get the idea. So for the next 12 hours, they gotta fight these psychopaths dressed up as clowns, and they gotta try to make it out alive. And I'm gonna pretty much go ahead and stop giving details about the story from there, but it's like I said before, I do like this movie. I think it's a good film. It has rewatch value. I've watched this movie a few times already. I find it entertaining. I think it's, a good film from Rob Zombie. I would say though, like, this is going to be a problem though, because, if you're one of those kind of people, like if you're not a fan of Rob Zombie, or you're especially not a fan of his Halloween remakes, this movie, you could kind of come along and say, like, there are things in this movie that go along that are not explained. They don't explain how they come across, how Malcolm McDowell's character and the other two, how do they know what's going on? We don't have like monitors to see, that they're watching what's happening in the game, but yet they know everything that's going down. They somehow are able to see and hear everything. Do they have psychic powers or whatever? It's never explained. There are parts in the movie where how do they hire the killers? How do they find these psychos? Where do they get them from? It's never explained. Do we have a lot of, background? Is there like a prequel on this character here, Doomhead, finding out how he became the psychopath that he became? It's never explained. He just says, I got talent. That's pretty much his explanation. So it's like, if my point being is like, if you're one of those kind of people who, you sit there, you could come at Rob Zombie with this and you could say, wait a minute, when you remade Halloween, you're sitting there, you're bitching about like, oh, how come Michael Myers can drive a car? How come, how did he know to find that mask at the shop? Why did he rob the store? How did he get away with it? And all this other kind of stuff. You could come at Rob Zombie, honestly, and say, what about this shit? You got a bunch of stuff in here that makes no damn sense at all. And yet you're going to sit there and bitch out John Carpenter because, some things you think some things in Halloween didn't make any sense. So it's like, that's neither here nor there, but I'm just saying, but, the movie does have some inconsistencies in the plot and some things you kind of are scratching your head on, but the movie it's mean spirited, it's brutal. But yeah, if you got like kind of, visceral movie, that was the thing. I think a lot of fans too might have been disappointed because we were told there was going to be an unrated director's cut where there was supposed to be like more gore and stuff like that, which never happened. I guess Rob Zombie looked at this and was like, it's good enough. Or unless, somebody didn't want to give him the time or the money or whatever to go back in there and put it all together. I don't know, but there was supposed to be a an unrated version of this movie. As it is, the movie does have some violence and some gore in it, not much. But yes, but it's a very dark film, very mean spirit. If you don't go into this looking for a lighthearted kind of movie, I'm going to tell you right now, this movie is, it's pretty vicious. So, but it is, I think it's an enjoyable film, overall. I think it's fun to watch and I like it, and I'm going to definitely be watching it again this Halloween season. So, it's crazy, but yeah. So I think that's about it. That's pretty much about all I want to say about it because, like I said, I really don't want to give away too much more detail-wise if you haven't seen the movie yet. But anyway, I say, yeah, 31, check it out. So hopefully I explained it well enough, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like on the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Body Bags channels. We got, a different reviewer for every day of the week doing different stuff. We got... oh man, everybody's doing great things. I'm the Saturday reviewer. So, it's like right now we got, I mentioned in my previous video about Rob from Georgia. He's kind of like our Italian horror movie expert. And now right now we got Crispy Movies. He's, talking about, he's going through all the horror shorts and stuff like that, independent horror shorts and things like that. So, so that's kind of good. Well, not kind of, it is good, but, I think for me, I'm just kind of all over the place, but anyway, though, hope you guys enjoy the rest of the week on Body Bags. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.